It's safe to say we have all had a celebrity crush, and at one point in time we were probably wishing that they would magically somehow fall in love with us. Luckily for the people on today's list, this happened to them. That is right, today on Beyond the Screen we are checking out the top 10 celebrities who fell in love with their fans. I wish I was on this list, you guys, so bad for a few different celebrities, probably. I'm your host for this one, Joss Bedard. Thanks for coming back to Top 10 Beyond the Screen. If you're new here, stick around until the end because we show some bloopers and we do some comment shoutouts. It's a lot of fun. Also, come say hi on social media. All of our links are down below for you guys. But for now, let's check out our top 10 list. Starting off the list at number 10 is Mariah Carey. During an interview, Nick Cannon admitted that he grew up admiring Mariah Carey's music and her looks, along with like every guy out there probably. He said he was a huge fan of hers, so it felt like a dream when they started dating and eventually got married. Nick says she was always his dream girl and he felt like he won the lottery when they finally got together. They got married in 2008 and after having twins, they sadly got separated in 2014 and officially divorced in 2016. They are still connected as devoted parents to their 9-year-olds, but Nick says that no one will ever compare with Mariah. In a recent interview in June, like a recent June 2020, he said, "I mean, it's Mariah Carey. How am I supposed to be? She's one of the most talented women to ever walk this planet. I can't hold a candle to that woman." Coming in next, number 9 is Harry Styles. There's probably a lot of girls out there who got excited to hear that he fell in love with one of his fans, thinking that they could be next. You might be. You never know. A girl named Tess Ward was first introduced to his boy band, One Direction, through a mutual friend. Of course, like most young girls at the time, she was a fan of their music. In 2017, paparazzi pictures captured him hanging out with a girl that no one really knew, and she was actually spotted wearing one of his t-shirts, which caused fans to go absolutely nuts. She started receiving a ton of nasty messages online from a bunch of other girls, and they ended up splitting up after just a few months. Tess spoke about it with the Times and said, "I'm not the kind of person who's interested in fame, and you're put in an environment which you don't understand and you can't control and you don't want it. It's horrible." Not long after their split though, I got some tea, Tess went back to her ex-boyfriend. So. Rolling to number 8 is Tom Cruise. Turns out that Katie Holmes was once telling her Dawson's Creek castmates how big of a crush she had on the actor, even admitting that she had a poster of him on her wall. So it's safe to say that she was a fangirl. Even if she had her own acting career, you can still be a fangirl. Back in 2004, she told 17 magazine she used to think she was going to marry Tom Cruise, and just 1 year after that interview, they started dating and her dreams finally came true. They started dating in 2005 and got engaged within weeks and introduced their little girl Suri into the world in 2006. They move fast. Sadly, his passion and involvement with Scientology put a wedge between them and they got divorced in 2012. But I think it's still a really cool love story. Like imagine having a poster of Tom Cruise on your wall and then you marry him. Oh, that's crazy. Up next, number 7 is Camila Mendes. This one is kind of an exception because Camila said they knew each other before he was a fan of her. So it's a little like twisty, not sure if it counts. She dated a guy outside of Hollywood named Victor Houston who went to a neighboring high school as her in Florida back in the day. But when her career took off, he couldn't deny that he was a fan of her talent and work, obviously. He went off to college when they graduated and landed a career in the finance industry. It wasn't until the two of them met up in New York City years down the road when they reconnected and started a relationship. They dated for a little while, but then Camila called it quits unexpectedly, saying that she just wasn't ready to be in a relationship. Despite her being the one to end the relationship, Riverdale fans still went after him like it was his fault. Moving on to number 6, we have Jake T. Austin. This one is a crazy story that will pretty much convince you that you could date your celebrity crush too. You might know him as Selena Gomez's younger brother on the show Wizards of Waverly Place. The young actor started dating a superfan, or as some people would call it, like a stalker, like she was obsessed. Her name is Danielle Caesar and she openly admitted that she stalked him on Twitter for 6 years before getting his attention. She started her obsession back in 2009 with tweets saying she wanted to meet him so bad and oh my god, will Jake T. Austin marry me? You know, all that stuff. She ended up meeting him at a 2011 autograph signing, and after posting the picture with him to Instagram, he followed her back on Twitter. Her dreams came true. The two of them got to talking and officially started dating back then, and they are still together to this day. Halfway through our list is Jessica Alba. She ended up falling in love with a man named Cash Warren, who was once just admiring her from the sidelines, working as a crew member on one of her movies. Back in 2004, he was hired to work as a production assistant on the movie she was filming, and like many people, he was a fan of her work, and probably her looks, because she is a babe. Because they were able to work on set together every day, they got to talking and began dating. Fast forward to 4 years later, the two of them got married in Beverly Hills in May of 2008. The happy couple now have 3 children together, and their marriage is going strong. Or so that is what we know anyways. You can actually get more behind the scenes look on their life on TikTok if you have it, because Jessica loves making videos with her kids, and it's honestly the cutest thing ever. In spot number 4 is Gwyneth Paltrow. Before she even met Chris Martin, he said he was making jokes to his friends about dating her. He was a big fan of hers and made the typical fan comments about, "One day I'm gonna marry them. I once thought I was gonna marry Nick Jonas, so like, I'm just trying to manifest that, you know, like all these people did somehow." But maybe his comments were actually a way of manifesting the future. Because one day Gwyneth attended a Coldplay show and his assistant asked her to come backstage, and then they were finally introduced. She was also a fan of his, obviously, for going to one of his shows, so they kinda had that mutual understanding and they hit it off. They started dating and eventually got married, and now they share 2 children together. But sadly, they are just co-parenting right now because they got divorced in 2014 after 10 years of marriage. However, they remain very close friends. She posted on Instagram like the sweetest birthday message for him. Alright guys, in the 3rd spot is Kevin Jonas. Now his wife Danielle Jonas was once just working as a hairdresser in the real world. She happened to meet Kevin while vacationing in the Bahamas back in 2007. Apparently, Kevin saw her and approached her on the beach, and they got to chatting and exchanged numbers. Kevin talked about it with glamour and said, "You know how you're supposed to meet somebody and call like 2 or 3 days later? Well, I cyber-stalked her after we met and cyber-stalked to see what flight she was going to be on coming home. And then I called her the minute she landed. That might be a little bit overboard, but I just went for it." Just a little overboard. Let me check your flight details, stranger. It must have worked though, because they got married in 2009 and they now have 2 little girls together. People fell in love with them because they started to share their relationship on their own reality show called Married to Jonas. I did watch part of it, it was actually really cute. Taking over the number 2 spot is Lisa Bonet. For anyone that has followed her relationship with Jason Momoa, they would know how obsessed he is with her. During an interview, he once said, "If someone says something is impossible, I'm like, listen here, I married Lisa Bonet." That's so cute! That's the sweetest thing I've ever heard. He never thought it would be possible when he was just fan crazed by her as her character Denise on The Cosby Show. He said he was 8 years old when he first saw her on TV, and that he told his mom that he wanted to marry her. His dreams did come true, and the two of them met at a jazz club in 2005, and they started dating and had their first child in 2007. In 2008, they welcomed their second child together and soon became a family of 5, including Lisa's daughter Zoe Kravitz. After a decade of being together, reports were made that they finally got married in 2017 after 12 years together. I know that sounds crazy, but Jason says they have always been married in heart, and that the wedding basically was just a gathering of family and friends. Earning the number 1 place is John Travolta. His wife Kelly Preston tragically passed away recently, so I thought that it would be nice to share this adorable love story. When his movie Grease first came out way back when, Kelly said that she saw the movie in theaters and then pointed to a poster on the theater wall and said, "I'm gonna marry that man." Well, she was right. Within the first year of dating, he surprised everyone by proposing to her in 1991 on New Year's Eve. They got pregnant not long after, and she was 2 months pregnant when they had their wedding in September of that same year. It wasn't until 2000 when they welcomed their second child. They had a massive heartbreak though in 2009 when their first son Jet passed away after having a seizure and hitting his head on the bathtub at just 16 years old. 2 years after his passing, they welcomed another baby boy into their family, and Travolta said they have been stronger as a family ever since. They actually just celebrated their 28th wedding anniversary in September 2019, and sadly Kelly passed away recently on July 12th, 2020. Starting off the list at number 10 is Adam Sandler. His wife Jackie Sandler was a huge fan of the comedian, which is why it was such a dream for her when she was cast in the movie Big Daddy starring alongside him. At the time, she was an actress and model looking for her big break, and not only did she get that, but she got a celebrity husband too. In the movie, she plays a waitress who takes Adam's character's order. Even that small scene would be a dream for any upcoming artist. After bonding throughout the film experience, they were already dating by the time it was released in 1999. They got married in 2003, and Jackie took their relationship seriously and actually converted to Judaism for Adam in 2000. The two of them are still together to this day and have 2 beautiful daughters together, one named Sadie and the other named Sunny. Maybe I'll get cast in a movie with Zac Efron and we'll have the same love story. One can dream. At number 9 we have Reese Witherspoon. Reese and her husband Jim Toth have one of the strongest relationships in Hollywood, and it's probably because it stays under the radar. Jim is a talent agent at Creative Artists Agency, not representing Reese, and for years has had his eyes on the blonde beauty. Like many others, he was a big fan of her work and also her looks. They met back in 2010 at a party, and the rest is pretty much history. Reese tells the story of how they met and said that Jim stepped in after his friend was drunkenly hitting on her. She says, "Jim came over and said, 'Please excuse my friend, he's just broken up with someone.' Jim was a really good friend, pulling him out of that situation." Good friend, or did he get jealous and wanted to be the one hitting on you? Reese has said that she finds it refreshing to not be in this big high-profile relationship. She actually loves that her husband is not a celebrity. Coming into number 8 is Christian Bale. When he first met his wife, Phoebe Blasek, she was working as an assistant to the actress Winona Ryder, which was the perfect connection to have for her because she was a huge fan of Bale, and Winona happened to be good friends with him. It didn't take long for them to start dating after they met, and in 2000 they eloped to Las Vegas. He was just 26 years old at the time and she was 30. Christian got himself an older babe. They welcomed their first child together in 2005 and their second down the road in 2015. Both of their kids have been kept out of the spotlight as much as possible. They are passionate about giving them some privacy. Sibby is Christian's biggest fan, but also his biggest supporter. During an interview, he spoke on their marriage and said, "My wife had to be married to so many different characters over our marriage. I know that it truly would be impossible to do it without her. She's such a good, strong woman." Ugh, this is love that people dream about. Me, I dream. Sliding to number 7 is John Travolta. His wife Kelly Preston was a big fan of his movie Grease and says that as soon as she saw the movie poster, she knew that he was the one for her. Like many other people, she hung that poster on her wall and wished she'd get to meet her celebrity crush one day. Talk about being a stalker. That wish came true when they met on the set of The Experts in 1987. Kelly claims that it was love at first sight, but she happened to be married at the time. When talking to Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live, she said, "Well, I was not that happily married, let's put it that way. I was really with the wrong person." They divorced after 2 years of marriage, and just a few short years later she married Travolta in September 1991. They share 3 beautiful children together. Sadly, their son Jet died in 2009 at the age of 16 due to an illness. But their love and commitment to each other and their family just shows how strong their love really is. This is the definition of #goals. At number 6 is Julia Roberts. The award-winning actress met her husband Daniel Motter while she was working on her movie The Mexican. She was already a star at the time, and he was a cameraman working on the movie and low-key a big fan of hers. But at the time of filming, they were both with other people. Only a year after filming ended, Daniel filed for divorce from his then wife, and Julia had split with her man. The two of them then got married on July 4th, 2002 at her ranch in New Mexico. They have 3 kids together and recently celebrated their 17th wedding anniversary. Julia calls him her fairy tale ending and told People magazine, "I mean, every day my husband walks in the door, it's like a recurring dream. I'm like, he's back." 17 years in and they are still having a bunch of fun together. She posted a picture on Instagram of them dining in the back seats of a car after the Golden Globes with an In-N-Out burger in her hand. I know I keep saying couple goals, But like, this is goals, right? Halfway through the list at number 5 is Matthew Lewis. Harry Potter fans won't need an explanation, but he is known for playing the character Neville Longbottom in the Harry Potter series. His wife Angela Jones is one of the many Harry Potter fans out there, and she was actually working as an event planner at the Wizarding World of Potter when she met him. What are the odds? They started dating in July 2016 after meeting in January, and he proposed to her later that year in December in front of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. I mean, come on. It doesn't get any more romantic than that. They've been together ever since, and they are enjoying being parents together. To their 2 dogs. Not children, fur babies. I don't care what anyone says, being a fur parent is a thing. I'm a fur parent. Takes a lot of work. It's like having a little toddler running around. Cruising into number 4, we have Patrick Dempsey. This story is pretty cool, not gonna lie. His now wife Gillian Fink was once just one of Patrick's many fangirls, which is why she couldn't contain her excitement when she found out that he had booked an appointment with her to cut his hair back in 1994. She was working at the Deluxe hair salon at the time and recalls how it happened. She said, "I was shocked, but at the same time I was happy because he was so cute." She said that they were flirty with each other and got to know each other before they became an official couple. They got married in 1999 and have 3 kids together now, but they did sail through some rough waters in 2015 when they had a brief separation. They announced their plans for divorce in January, but then later confirmed they were not ready to call it quits. Patrick told People magazine, "Our marriage was not something I was prepared to let go of. I don't feel like we had done all the work and we both wanted to do that work." Well, they seem to be doing a lot better now, and I just gotta say, I give mad respect for people who work hard at their marriages and do not settle for divorce. High five. At number 3, we have Jerry Seinfeld. He thought he was just meeting another fan at the gym one day in New York City, not realizing it would one day be his wife. They met back in 1999, which they claim was love at first sight, but his now wife, Jessica Skylar, was already married. And not like long-term marriage, she met Jerry as soon as she got back from her 3-week honeymoon. But she followed her heart and went with Jerry and got a divorce. From there, the relationship moved very quickly. They dated for a few months before he proposed on November 6, 1999. Only 7 weeks later, they were married on Christmas Day. 7 weeks? How do you even pick out a dress in 7 weeks? The two have been going strong ever since and now have 3 children together. Jessica is now known for being an author of some pretty awesome cookbooks, and Jerry, well, he's Jerry. In spot number 2 is Tobey Maguire. When he first met Jennifer Meyer, she was just a regular girl who designed jewelry for a living and was a huge fan of Tobey's for his work in Spider-Man. Obviously. I think we all were at the time. They started dating in 2003 and became husband and wife later on in 2007, so I guess her fangirling didn't scare him off in any way. They have 2 children together, a daughter named Ruby and a son named Otis. However, even though this story started out really cute and happy, they sadly split back in 2016. They released a statement saying, "After much soul searching and consideration, we have made the decision to separate as a couple. As devoted parents, our first priority remains raising our children together with enduring love, respect, and friendship." But despite this love story having a sad ending, it still shows that Tobey is not afraid to marry one of his fans. So you guys might have a chance. Taking the number 1 spot on our list is Elvis Presley. A young girl named Priscilla met the icon back in 1959 when she was just 14 years old. And like everyone else at the time, she was a huge fan. Apparently she was just hanging out at the Eagles Club when a guy chatted with her saying that he and his wife were actually good friends with Elvis. They were the reason that she was able to meet him. They immediately hit it off, but of course her young age was an issue for most people around them. But that did not stop him from proposing on Christmas Eve in 1966. They ended up getting married 7 years after meeting each other on May 21st, 1967. She was 21 years old when they got married, in case some of you are trying to figure that math out in your head. She was 21. They ended up having a daughter together and everything looked like a fairy tale from the outside looking in. But apparently that wasn't the case and they separated in 1972. Another sad ending, but I still think their story is really cool. She was just some teenager who had a celebrity crush and ended up marrying him. And it's Elvis Presley, not just like any celebrity. Elvis. Starting off our list at number 10 is Matt Damon. If only I knew this sooner. A huge fan of his named Luciana Barroso was bartending in Miami back in 2003 when the handsome actor asked her to help him. Imagine just being at work and Matt Damon approaches you and asks for help. Like what? He was in Miami filming Stuck on You, and a couple of guys who were part of the crew decided to go and grab a beer one night in the middle of the shoot, and they dragged him along with them. They just so happened to end up at the bar that Luciana was working at. Not surprisingly, he was being swarmed by fans demanding autographs in the establishment she happened to be working at, so she offered to help him and told him to duck down and hide behind the bar. And that's pretty much it. It's as simple as that. The two of them began dating shortly after that and got married just 2 years later in 2005, and they lived happily ever after. Seriously, as of now, in 2019, they are still together. They have 3 daughters together and one from Luciana's previous marriage. They are a beautiful family of 6, Matt being very outnumbered by females. Can you imagine? I don't want that to happen to me. I'll help a celebrity hide behind a bar. Up next, number 9 is Jessica Alba. Little did a man named Cash Warren know that the Fantastic Four gig he booked would be more than just a job for him. Back in 2004, he was hired to work as a production assistant on the movie, which starred Jessica Alba as Susan Storm. Like many other people, Cash was a big fan. Because they were able to work on set together every day, they got to talking and began dating. Fast forward to 4 years later, the two of them got married in Beverly Hills in May of 2008. The happy couple now have 3 children together, and their marriage is going strong. When asked about how they keep it so strong, Alba told Us Weekly, "Making time for our relationship and our daily routine, even though it's surprisingly predictable and may not seem as spicy as our spontaneous pre-kiddo days. It really helps to keep the romance alive." He probably feels like the luckiest man alive. He was probably so excited just to book that job, let alone marry the lead actress in it. That's wild. Coming into number 8, we have Harry Styles. Relax, ladies. I know you're all dying inside thinking you might be next. I mean, you might be. Who knows? There is a food blogger named Tess Ward who introduced the One Direction singer through a mutual friend. I wish my friends knew people like Harry Styles. It all happened back in May 2017 after paparazzi was capturing pictures of him hanging out with a girl that no one really knew. She was spotted out in public wearing one of his t-shirts, and Harry fans went nuts. They were pissed. Probably a jealousy thing. She started to receive rude comments and hate messages all over her social media platforms. She addressed the online abuse during an interview with The Times and said, I quote, "It's been so weird. The hate messages are very bizarre. I'm not the kind of person who's interested in fame, and if you're put in an environment which you don't understand and you can't control and you don't want, it's horrible." They only dated for a few months, and it was reported that they split in June, and shortly after, Tess got back with her ex-boyfriend. At number 7 is Joe Jonas, one of the members from the Jonas Brothers band who ventured off to be an individual artist. Well, they all kind of did, except Kevin, but no one really cares about Kevin. No offense. Joe has been open about the fact that he's hooked up with some of his fans and even admitted to going on dates with them. He told Us Weekly, "When we first started with my brothers, we would do these videos and we get these video girls for the video, and you're like, oh my god, hot girls for the first time in front of us. I've gone on dates with them before." He didn't give us any names, but we can kind of piece it together, and we think he is talking about Camila Bell. She was modeling and acting back in September 2008 when they met on the set of their Love Bug music video. They ended up dating for a little while afterwards. The boys were never supposed to get too close to the girls on set, but clearly Joe didn't follow any of the rules. Can you imagine being one of the fans who went on a date with him? Joe once admitted that one of the dates he invited a girl to see a movie one time, but doesn't remember what the movie was because they were too busy making out the entire time. Classic. My friend's first date in grade 9 was that movie, and she told me they made out the whole time. I remember. I was in grade 9, I was like, oh my god, you kissed a boy? Swiping the number 6 spot is Conan O'Brien. The late night talk show host gushes over his wife, who happened to be just one of his fans back in the day. He loves telling the story of how they met, explaining that she, Lisa Powell, was one of his audience members at a 2000 taping. He says that when he saw her in the audience, he instantly fell in love with her. He tells the press that she caught his eye simply because she was, I quote, incredibly beautiful. During an interview with Piers Morgan, he said, I quote, "Somewhere in the vault at NBC there is footage of me literally falling for my wife on camera." I would love to see that. They started to date after meeting on set that day and got married in 2002. They are living happily ever after now and have 2 beautiful children together. Oh, so cute. Halfway through the list at number 5 is Anne Hathaway. It's no secret that the beautiful brunette has a lot of fans. One of them is named Adam Schulman, who admired the actress from afar like the rest of us. But he finally got the chance to meet her once a mutual friend introduced them at the Palm Springs Film Festival. He hasn't been shy about gushing on the actress, but she also hasn't been either. She tells a story saying that after she laid eyes on him that day, she told the friend that they had in common, "I'm going to marry that man." And she wasn't wrong. After meeting at the festival, they started dating and later got married in 2012. They welcomed their first baby in March 2016, a little boy, and she recently announced that they are expecting expecting their second. Last month in July 2019, she posted a black and white photo on her Instagram showing off her baby bump and captioned it, "It's not for a movie." Here we are number 4 with the Disney star Jake T. Austin. You might know him as Selena Gomez's younger brother on the show Wizards of Waverly Place. The young actor is now dating a superfan, as other people would call her, a stalker. The fan's name is Danielle Caesar from New York, who admits to stalking him on Twitter for 6 years. He stunned all of his other fans when he posted a picture of them kissing on his Instagram and captioned it, "I'm crazy for her." She started her obsession back in 2009 with tweets like, "I want to meet at Jake T. Austin so badly," and "Can Jake T. Austin go out with me?" Well, yes, apparently he can. She ended up meeting him at a 2011 autograph signing, and after posting the picture with him to Instagram, he followed her back on Twitter. The two of them got to talking and are officially dating to this day. I guess it just goes to show that hard work really pays off. Persistence is key, ladies. Keep stalking that crush. Alright guys, at number 3 we have Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey is the man, you guys. I love him, and Chris thinks that I shouldn't. Not like romantically though, because he could probably be my dad. He cracked a joke during one of his 1990 comedy sets about marrying a woman in the audience one day, but he never realized it would actually come true. There was a fan named Marjorie Bridge Woods in his audience one day, and he called her out during his show. Apparently it was love at first sight because they started dating after that. They ended up breaking up though due to the stress that the long distance had on their relationship. However, this love story has a happy ending. They reconnected later on in life, and he stuck to his promise that he joked about 17 years prior. He really did marry a woman from the audience. They got married in 2007 and have been together ever since. In spot number 2 is Nicolas Cage, another time that whining and dining brought a celebrity to meet his future wife. A fan of his named Alice Kim was working at a Los Angeles restaurant called Kabuki back in 2004. Cage went there to eat, and she just so happened to be working. Normally they have rules in an LA workplace about not asking celebrity for photos or autographs while on the job, but despite any rules, Alice went up to him and asked him for an autograph. Another love at first sight fairy tale because the two of them began hitting it off and started dating pretty much immediately. They got married only 2 months after meeting. They were rushed for time because the marriage allowed her to travel with him to South Africa to film Lord of War. They were married for 12 years and have a son together, but sadly got divorced back in 2016. Rumors spread that Alice had cheated on him and ended the relationship unexpectedly. Not a very happy ending for Nick, who says he will not be joining any dating sites. In case any of you ladies were wondering. Taking the number 1 spot is Justin Bieber. The Biebs got famous at a young age, and after he was discovered on YouTube, he made the move from Ontario, Canada to Atlanta, Georgia to work with Usher. Once he moved there, he still attended church with his family, and he met a fangirl named Caitlin Beatles. The two of them started dating, and rumor has it that she was his first real girlfriend. They dated from 2008 to 2009, but broke up because his touring schedule got too busy. And let's face it, they were kids. Apparently his song Never Let You Go is about her. So I bet you're wondering if he'd ever date a fan again. Well, let's just say hypothetically, since he is now engaged. But when he was a single man, he openly talked about how he has dated fans and would do it again. He said he has slid into the DMs of girls he finds attractive, even if they are just random fans. He's been spotted hanging out with fans after some of his shows in the past, so the chances would be pretty high. But sorry about your luck, girls, he is taken. Alright guys, there's our list for today. Let me know what you think down in the comments and hit that thumbs up button so that I know you enjoyed it. For now, let's check out some comments from some of my other videos. Bobby No Last Name says, "Where do you get your video ideas? Not complaining, just curious." All up here, my friend. We come up with them ourselves, the hosts and editors. We're kind of all of a team. Block the Fox says, "Orlando should have hit Justin harder. He's such a little punk." Not a Justin Bieber fan, are ya? I don't think anyone in the comments of this video was a fan of his, to be honest. Susan Richards says, "Liking the channel, can't wait to check out some of your other videos." You are the best, Susan. Thanks for hanging out with us. Roxanne Ortega says, "LOL, why am I watching this? Laughing emojis and facepalm emoji." Why not, Roxanne? That is the real question. Why not? Well, we made it to the end, you guys. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button before you go. I'm your host, Joss, and I will see you next time.